Hi, I'm Tyrrell of Uncommon Knowledge, and welcome to 5 vital facts to tell your clients about antidepressants. Now, a client of mine, I'll call Dave, was glaring ferociously at me. And he wasn't angry with me personally, but for the moment I was a kind of stand-in for the doctor he was telling me about. And Dave said that the doctor had told him that if he didn't take antidepressants, he'd be depressed for the rest of his life. And Dave asked me what I thought about that. And he also told me that he'd taken antidepressants before, but they'd never made him feel any better, and that he always got side effects. So he asked me, should he go back to taking antidepressants? Now, you might sometimes get this. You might get clients wanting you to tell them whether they should consume these pharmaceutical products or not. And I always emphasize that, of course, it's entirely up to them. Doctors can't make them take those products, and I can't tell them they shouldn't take those products. All we can do is give them some useful information. So, of course, part of being an adult is making choices for yourself. But when it comes to making important choices about potentially changing your brain chemistry, you can't get much more important than that. And you really need some hard facts to inform your choice. And you, as the practitioner, can sometimes just give your clients a little bit more information without telling them what they should be doing. So if I'm pressed on the matter, I give out the following facts, and if your clients ask about these products, then you too can pass on these facts if you want. So first off, antidepressants can be harmful. Many people are injured by the medical products that they use. From anxiety and sleep disorders to sexual dysfunction and suicidal ideation, all antidepressant products carry a risk of side effect. Some of those side effects can injure your clients quite badly. And it's amazing and terrifying how often doctors don't even discuss the potential for harm with their patients of the drugs that they prescribe. Okay, and sometimes the doctors don't even know about the side effects. And it's possible and even probable for some side effects to be discounted as symptoms of the depression rather than effects of the medication. So there can be a confusion there. So doctors are subjected to some of the most sophisticated marketing that you'll find anywhere on the planet. And they're not necessarily pharmacological experts who understand exactly how every drug they prescribe works. Okay. So although medical drugs unquestionably do save many lives and improve the quality of many more, it's important to remember that there's a huge, if not always acknowledged, financial incentive for drug companies to develop medications that have to be taken for life, okay, and by as big of the population as possible. So when you stop taking a drug because you're better, the manufacturer makes no more money out of you. Okay, it sounds very cynical, but there's some truth to that. But make no mistake, drugs can be dangerous, and side effects are not as rare as some people are led to believe. Medicinal drug-induced deaths are now the 4th cause of death in medical settings. The idea that medical drugs are unequivocally good for us is, excuse the pun, dead in the water. Secondly, the premise of antidepressant usage is unproven. So drug companies currently spend around £3 billion a year promoting the notion that depression is a purely biological illness that can be effectively treated only by, in many cases, long-term usage of their products. And the first thing I tell my clients is that there's no evidence, despite the billions spent on marketing the idea, that clinical depression is caused in the main part for most people through faulty biology or bad genes. Okay, it's a very important thing that we can tell our clients. And I tell them that depression isn't like, say, type 2 diabetes, although some doctors have been encouraged to use that analogy. by the marketing companies, by the producers of these drugs. But it's a wrong analogy. I might also add that all trials of these antidepressants are conducted by the drug companies themselves. There's no independent arbitrator of these trials. And these trials are not currently independently assessed. So they can, and therefore do, choose not to publish any trials that show a weak effect or no advantage of their products over placebo. Thirdly, we could tell them that no antidepressant is more or less effective than any other antidepressant. So despite nearly 40 years of development, no single antidepressant has been shown to be any more efficacious than any other type of antidepressant. So the newer SSRIs aren't more effective or less effective than the older style tricyclic or monoamine oxidase inhibitors, the stuff that people used to be more prescribed with. But the newer ones don't work any better. So it's important to understand, although some people believe they're less toxic than the older ones. However, there is evidence that switching between antidepressants to find the one that works best for the individual produces best outcomes. So sometimes your clients may be switched around from antidepressant to antidepressant. Fourthly, dosage makes no difference to outcome. So sometimes clients tell you that their doctor wants them to increase their dosage of such and such antidepressant. And in those cases, I generally suggest that if they feel they have to take these products, a lower dosage is always better than a higher dosage, because having higher dosage doesn't alter outcome for the depression. So why do I say that to my clients? Well, because it's been found that higher dosage antidepressants, taking into account the placebo effect of knowing you're on a more powerful course, make no difference to outcome other than the placebo effect of being on a higher dosage. So I always advise they consume these drugs at lower dosages, because toxicity will be less profound, have less impact, and the side effects should be weaker on the lower dosage. So it's a myth that a person will get better quickly if they're on a higher dosage, or get better any quicker because they're on a higher dosage. Okay, so it's a very important antidepressant myth. Number 5, effective psychotherapy is better at preventing relapse than drugs. So you might also tell your client that effective psychotherapy also changes the way the brain works, but in a good way and without the side effects. And research has found that because effective psychotherapy teaches skills that can be used for life, it's much better at preventing relapse into depression than antidepressant medication. You could also mention that a common withdrawal symptom of coming off antidepressants is feeling low. So a withdrawal symptom initially from coming off one of these drugs is feeling a bit depressed. And that's because the brain is trying to adjust to life without the drug. This withdrawal symptom is often not recognized for what it is, and is instead interpreted as an indication that the person needs to go back to taking the drug because they're still depressed underneath. So remember that. That's a really important piece of information. So it's worth waiting for the withdrawal symptoms to subside before any decision is made regarding further consumption of those drugs. Okay, so let some time go by and then see what happens to the person's mood as they come through the withdrawal from ceasing taking those drugs. I might add that I'm not in the business of telling others that they must or mustn't take these drugs. That's not my place, but we can simply discuss these things if our clients want to. I also say that if they do take them, I'll still gladly help them psychotherapeutically, although that might not be as ideal as seeing someone clean, as it were. But we're still happy to work with someone even if they're taking antidepressant medication. Some therapists might consider it none of their business to comment on whether their clients do or don't take psychotropic drugs. But considering the number of patients who are injured or at risk of being injured taking these products, I think we have a duty to at least provide a counterbalanced view if we're asked. Okay, so in the end, Dave, my client, didn't take any more antidepressants, and he decided they weren't for him. and he got better anyway. So I hope you found that useful, and if you did, please hit like and subscribe. If you want to hear when my next video is published, hit the notification bell below. I'm Mark Tyrrell of Uncommon Knowledge, and if you'd like to subscribe to my email newsletter, you can find it over at unk.com/blog. That's unk.com/blog. And thanks for watching.